a topic that is much more relevant in today's world. I think it has to do a lot with the market cycle, market maturity, sophistication of investors and developers. And I don't want to, I mean, it's complex. I don't want to make it sound like it's very hard, but definitely there is not one single piece of advice that we can give. To each, there are really a lot of consideration, as you said. I mean, there are key considerations that are more macro-related.
Right.
So when I say macro-related, it has to do with the scale, it has to do with the internal capabilities, it has to do with the know-how, market dynamics, and market cycle. And then you look at the property level, or the micro level, and then you're looking at segmentation of the property, visitation, is it domestic, is it leisure? And you know, I mean, I don't necessarily have the full answer, but with the portfolio that we're currently doing, and it is relevant, it is here in the Kingdom, some of these assets are very well established. There is another 4 in the pipeline. So we're looking at what I would call scale, right? So 12 assets, and the question today is exactly that. Do we continue with the brands that we have? Do we create our own brand? Do we swap from a management agreement to a franchise agreement? And guess what? Now that we've completed this exercise, it does confirm actually what I just said, that every single asset is very different. And more importantly, I'd probably add also is what is the owner's profile or the developer profile, right? So, I mean, it sounds great, and the session earlier on was all about having fun. It sounds great and fun to create your own brand, but really the question is, what is the story? What is it that you're trying to sell? And how much capital you need to support that brand launch? So, and again, when we look at the international operators, and if we have operators in the room, they can challenge me or perhaps agree with me. Even within the international groups, some brands have done extremely well and were very successful, and other brands have really struggled, whether from market acceptance, growth strategy. So I guess, again, what I'm saying, it's very specific. We find, for instance, with more destinations that rely predominantly on domestic tourism, and I'm going to bring in some additional example here, like in Morocco, you've got the Mogador brand or Kenzi Group. They have been doing very well with the domestic market because this is predominantly their market. Here in the Kingdom, even in the old days, we had the likes of Elaf, we had the likes of Boodle, that really spoke to the domestic market, and they've done well at that point in time. If we look at the regional brands, for instance, or homegrown brands, there are good examples, which is Jumeirah, for instance. They had a real story behind the brand, and equally, I could bring into this discussion also the Rotana Group.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a homegrown regional brand. Perhaps the similarity across all these is that it wasn't just purely creating a brand and a management company. It was also owning the real estate.
Right.
So there are multiple layers of complexities.
Yeah.
And as a boring financial advisor, that perhaps I'm not so much fun when it comes to brand and marketing, we're looking at optimizing the value of the asset.
Exactly.
So clearly our advice is, who can do both? Optimize the top line, because that's what the international brand, and I mean, granted, they can help you with the distribution. So they are making sure you have at least minimum bookings, but then who can also optimize the EBITDA for the owner?
Right.
So I think today these conversations become more valid.